Good morning, everyone. I'm Jenny Thomas, and I am so excited to be with you guys again today. I missed being with you guys last week, but wow, the masterclass, that was amazing. If you missed it, guys, come on over to the Candor All for Him site and you can click on and watch it there. It was absolutely amazing. But today, I'm excited to join you for Raising Kingdom Kids. For those of you that are new here, I am a mama of four littles. I have twin boys and two little girls, and each of my kids have such sweet spirits, gifting, and needs, as I'm sure you have found in all of your kids. But as I've been raising kids alongside my husband, Clay, we've had to overcome obstacles, but also we've got to celebrate many joys. And as we've been celebrating our joys, we have found that we needed a community of friends and family to come together to pray with us, to walk alongside, to guide us as we hit different milestones. So, today on Raising Kingdom Kids, I want to come alongside you as we talk about how can we raise our kids in the world that we currently live in. It's a time that we get to come together as a community to support and pray for one another. And each week, I get an opportunity to share my journey of raising my kingdom kids. So, go ahead. I'm going to put a link in the chat. And if you haven't signed up for before, sign up. And is what it will do is it will give you an email that can then log on to a live Zoom with me after I talk about my journey. And we get to spend some quality time praying with each other and being together. So, right here, you should see the link. If you've already signed up, you should already automatically get the Zoom link to be able to hop on after I share this journey. So today, as you join me and we go through this journey of raising kingdom kids, I want to talk about facing our giants, which that's a huge topic, and I know that. But as parents, many of us have giants that we haven't faced yet that are holding us back and limiting us to be able to be the parents we need to be able to guide and lead our kids. So tell me, I want you to raise your hand, put it in the chat. How many of you still have some giants that you haven't faced that you need to step up and face? I'm just going to pause for a second because let me tell you, I do. Yeah, some of you guys do too. Absolutely. We all have some giants that we need to face. And I am so guilty, and it keeps me paralyzed. Well, this weekend, it really came alive. My giant got me and got me good. And you know what? I had to conquer it. So, over spring break, right now we're all on spring break, God showed me that I had to face my giant because my daughter was connecting to me through my fears, through my giant that was holding me back. Our family, we love to go skiing. Skiing and being in the mountains just brings us so much joy and refreshment. And so this year, we got to go on two ski trips. And our first ski trip we went to Colorado. And Samuel skis, Lucas snowboards. Ellie was her first time skiing, and she absolutely loved it. And Adeline skis too. And usually, Adeline is my giggle box. Everything makes her giggle. And I love it about her. So she falls, she giggles. She slips the wrong way, she giggles. Her shoe comes out, she giggles. And it's so much fun skiing with her. Well, I had him take lessons this year because we were in Colorado. It's a new mountain that we haven't skied on before, so it wasn't our usual. And Adeline is now 7. And because she's 7, she's in the big kids group. Well, when she went into lessons, they looked and said, "Oh my gosh, you're one family. You and Sam can ski together. We'll put you in the same group." What they didn't realize is we have a beginner and we have an intermediate skier. And so the group was a little too advanced. And Adeline, who goes with the flow, jumps in anywhere, she got scared. And an hour into the lesson, they called me to come get her. And she was done skiing. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. That's not normal. But I thought, you know what? It's a new mountain. She's with an older group. She was nervous. I totally, as a parent, made excuse and didn't think really through it or really even listen to my gut because I knew that, oh, you know what? I should probably ask for a different group. Maybe we could put her in a different group than her brother or should have said something. But I thought, let's just let it be. It's nerves, new mountain. I get it. So we skied that day on the bunny slope. She wouldn't go to a green, and she usually does great on green. Nope, she wouldn't try anything. Blew it off. All right, tomorrow will be better. Well, the next day it wasn't. She refused to ski. And I didn't recognize that a giant was forming. So this week we're headed to our favorite ski place. And we've been here probably 5 times, and she loves it. We've taken her friends. It's always just been such a joyous time. She goes on her own. She's always like, peace out, mom. And, this mom's heart's always like, okay, where are they at? Okay, I see them all. Everything's okay. I wasn't ready for them just to be able to go on their own. Well, this year we get there and Adeline's excited again. I'm like, all right, here we go. I want to ski for 2 days, mom. Both days. I want to go. So we got our rentals, we got everything the day before. Well, that night she was up all night long and her tummy hurt and she was just not sleeping and anxious. And I thought, it's just an adjustment. We're exhausted. We left at 2:30 in the morning. Her sleep time's off. Didn't think anything of it. We bundle up, we go to go skiing. And I mean, it was snowing. It was a lot of snow. And we start walking in. She says, Mom, I don't want to ski anymore. I want to go back and be with Grandpa and Grandma. No, you got this. Come on. We're doing it. We got this. You're one-on-one with Mommy. The boys are going to go ski. It's you and I. Nope, I don't want to ski. And she didn't want to walk the rest of the way in. So I was like, it's all right. I got you. You're tired. We got it. I have my skis on. She has her skis on. I just hang on to her. Nope, we're going to go to that bunny slope. You got this, girlfriend. This is your favorite thing. Well, we get there. I set her down. I'm like, all right, let's do this. You want to race down? She just starts sobbing. Nope, I don't want to ski anymore, Mom. I'm done skiing. I give up skiing. What? You can't give up skiing. We're here. And I mean, it was cold and it was snowing really hard. And so I'm like, all right, we got to do it just once, baby girl. We got to do it. So her and I held hands and we skied down the bunny slope. We got on the red carpet and I'm thinking, oh, she's going to think it's great. We've got this. We're going to go again. Nope. Big elephant tears. I'm not going. Takes her skis off. I'm done. I'm done skiing. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? It is yucky outside. I'll let you go hang out with Grandma and Papa. So take her in and she goes and hangs out with Grandma and Papa and Ellie. And you know what? I just kind of let it be and thought, okay, you know what? It'll be fine. Well, the next day it's beautiful sunshine. Great weather, perfect. I mean, the sun is literally beating down on our face. But nope, she didn't want to go. She was staying at the house with Grandma and Papa. And she says, Mama, I don't ever want to ski again. Oh, my tummy hurt. Ugh. What do you mean you don't want to ski again? I don't ever want to ski again, Mama. I'm going to hang out here with Grandma and Papa. That comment didn't sit with me. And it sat and just made my tummy stir the whole day. But Clay and I took the boys and we went and, there we were skiing and snowboarding. And I got to hear their giggles and their joy and hollering of woohoo as they go down the mountain and go up and do their jumps. And, I'm just behind them just laughing. Just that freedom, no fear, the fun. There's not a worry in the world. We'd get to the top of the mountain, a beautiful view of God's creation, the lake and the mountains all together. And I just kept praying, oh God, I hope Adeline enjoys this. I want her to come join us. So I get back to the house after we've been skiing all day. And she talked about she had the best time with Grandma and Papa, went shopping and to barbecue and doing all these things. And I tell her, oh my gosh, well, you know what? We were on the top of the mountain. It was so pretty and what we got to see because she loves seeing that beauty. And next year, you're going to be with us, and I can't wait. And she looks at me and says, nope, won't be next year, Mom. I'm done skiing, and starts walking off. And I'm like, no. Hey, come here. You're not done skiing, honey. You love skiing. You've always loved skiing. She said, nope, I'm done. And I said, honey, are you scared? And she said, Mama, just like you don't like flying, I don't like skiing. See, we're alike. We have something in common, Mom. And boom, it hit me. She's bonding over my giant. And she thought it's okay. Let's bond, Mom. Both of us have this fear. So you know what? Hey, we're alike. And it hit me hard. That bonding continued. We flew out yesterday. And I used to not, and I'm going to say used to, because you know what? I'm facing that fear. Not flying. Well, up until about 6 hours ago. I did the whole thing of I didn't sleep at night. I got paralyzed on the plane. Y'all, it was crazy. I would have my podcast going with a sermon in one ear. I'd have my kids right beside me, and either I'd be squeezing onto them or I'd be holding on to the edge. I mean, the littlest bump, and I'd be freaking out, just praying, God, safety, help me. Every single time I flew. It was ridiculous. But it was what I did. And every time before I got on the plane, text all my friends, pray for me, I'm getting on a plane. And I mean, I would be sweating. I would be the whole bit of anxiety you can imagine every single time. And it was one of those things I couldn't move. We couldn't get up. We couldn't do anything. I had to hold on. But as we were waiting for that plane, my daughter could see my fear because I'm thinking, oh gosh, here we go again. I don't want to get on this plane. We've got an hour and 49-minute flight to San Jose. Then we got a 3-hour, 40-minute flight all the way back to Houston. I don't want to do this. And in my head, I'm playing, how can we drive? How can we drive? And as we were waiting for the plane, my daughter could see that fear. And she said, Mom, I'm here with you. I know what you're feeling because that same fear is what I goodness, with skiing. We can just drive if you want to. We don't have to fly any, Mom. Just you and me, we can drive. The boys, if they want to fly, they can. It's the same thing I have, Mom. It's okay. We're alike. And it hit me again that we're alike. We're bonding over our fear. Why? Because I hadn't faced my giants. I hadn't faced my fear. And what example am I showing my daughter that it's okay to have this fear, that it's okay not to face your giant? I mean, it's an airplane. That airplane gets me to be able to go and minister to people, to reach a population, to love on people. And I'm showing her, you know what? Yep, it's okay to have that fear. Yeah, no big deal. So I decided, all right, God, we've got to overcome this. I don't know how, but we've got to. So I get on the plane and I think, okay, I'm not going to hold on real tight to the armrest as we take off. All right, God, you got this. So I'm just going to hold on to my arms. Well, the holding on to my arms meant to holding really tight, holding on to Ellie. Oh, don't wiggle so much. Don't wiggle so much as we take off. And there's a few bumps. I'm like holding my breath, doing it all over again. It's like, oh my gosh, I've got to overcome this. Well, in the middle of our flight, we have some unexpected turbulence and woo, the plane drops down and up and down. And I'm holding my breath thinking, oh my gosh, I can't take another breath. I'm just going to hold my breath until we land. And of course, it's, another 40 minutes. So I can't really hold my breath. But I sat there and let fear overcome me. And I was allowing fear as we were going through this to take over my joy. And here I am showing my daughter it's okay to have this fear. Well, we landed through a storm. So it was quite the landing. And we didn't ever deboard because we stayed on the same plane and people got off and we loaded back up to go back home. But it was a 4-hour flight. Well, 3 hours and 40 minutes. So 4-hour flight. And I'm thinking, okay, I can't get back in this air. We've got to get off. So I start thinking of how am I going to convince Clay? I'm going to convince my husband that we're going to drive from San Jose. It's only 24 hours. We can do this. Why not? And I'm thinking in my head, I could sleep and then drive all night and he can drive during the day and we could do this. And I start looking and, oh yeah, they have a rental car that would fit our whole family. We have car seats. I just have to figure out how to tell them to get my bags off. And I'm calculating this all. And at that moment, God stops me and says, you have little faith. Don't you trust me? And I hear that. And I just stop for a second thinking, oh my gosh, you're right. I'm not trusting him. I'm allowing this overcome. So I was like, all right, I've got to do this. So I started just thinking about it. I'm like, all right, if David could overcome Goliath with a slingshot and a stone, why can't I overcome this? So I decided, you know what? I didn't put my armor of God in. So I put my armor of God on. I look over to Sam and I'm like, Sam, let's pray together because we're going to come together in prayer. And I start praying and I just give it to God and say, God, I'm giving this fear to you. I'm giving this giant to you. I'm stepping in and I'm attacking it. I am not going to be afraid. I'm going to have this and I can proclaim this. I've got God and I've got his power. You know what? It's going to be a smooth flight. We're going to do this. I don't need to be fearful. I don't need to hold on. I got to trust God. Well, as soon as I am all prepared and I just feel refreshed, the pilot comes over, because he sees us waiting as we're getting ready for new people to load on. And he says, hey guys, you might want to move to the front. It's going to be rough at first because there's this big storm that's going through that we got to break through. And then the rest of the way it'll be smooth, but it's going to be pretty rough. So move to the front. You won't feel as much bumps. That was Satan. Boom, boom, boom. Trying to overcome what I had just gotten as far as peace and joy. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can't do this. So I started rebuking it. I started just praying to God. And God said, let me show you. Close your eyes. Let me show you. So I sat there with my eyes closed and Ellie's peeling my eye. Mommy, open your eyes. Don't be asleep. Open your eyes. And I'm like, nope. I got to have time with God, Ellie. Hold on. And as I closed my eyes and just said, all right, God, I'm giving this giant. I'm facing this giant. I can do this. I am David. Here's my slingshot. Here's my stone. Boom. I'm overcoming it. I've got this. God just showed me, you know what? your plane's just going to go up. It's just smooth. And you're going to go back because I am with you. And there's nothing you shall fear. And you know what? We did. That was the smoothest flight. And yes, they got on and told everybody. And it's that outside chatter that we hear when we're facing our giant that want to scare us from facing it. You know, flight attendants, you will be seated for the first 30 minutes because it's going to be rough. We'll wait to serve drinks because it's going to be rough. You know, we got to hear all that chatter. But you know what? As we took off, it was smooth. It was so smooth. And there was huge black storm clouds all around us. And as I looked out, I could see puffy cloud, puffy cloud, puffy cloud. And it was just smooth all the way. There's a tiny little boop, bump. And you know what? In my mind, I wanted to look down and be like, oh my gosh, I don't like heights. Look how high we are. Oh my gosh. And there's 4 other planes that we saw as we were looking out the window. But I was like, nope, God, this is you. You and I, we're overcoming this fear. We have to, because I'm not going to bond with my daughter over my fear, over my giant. And you know what? I even took my headphones out. That was the first flight in 11 years that I took a headphone out and just sat. And when we got ready to land, I didn't have anything on to listen to. I didn't hold on. I enjoyed it. And it was a little bumpy as we were landing and coming down out through the clouds. But you know what? I just dreamed and just saw God just having us like riding away. Boop, ba-doop, ba-doop, ba-doop. And we giggled and we laughed all the way down as we're landing. Because you know what? It's time to face our giants. It's time to step into it. Instead of letting our giant go ahead and overtake us, we have to step into and overcome it. So today, if you have a giant that is attacking you, or your child has a giant that they're facing, let's bond together by teaching our children how to fight this battle. Because you know what? I thought about it all night. And this morning, as I was thinking about what we were going to talk about, I had a whole different message. But God said, no, my child, let's overcome these giants. So then we can step into the next, to the destiny, to the joys. Because by not doing that, we're stopping our destiny. We're saying yes to the world and no to God. So how do we teach it? How do we fight our different giants? The first thing we do is we need to position ourselves for the fight. And how do we do that? We show up every day. It's easy to forget how important the mundane is, that we feel stuck in the daily grind of everything of life that's going on. But you know what? That's a training ground for greatness. David's personal development, as I was reading his story, I went back and read it and thought about it. He was a shepherd. And that's what guided him and positioned him and showed him honor and obedience to God. That was his training ground. And as parents, that showing up, that daily mundane is what was the training ground that we are creating for our children. We're showing them, how do you trust in God in the little things? How do you see his greatness? How do you obey? How do you hear him? How do you see him? We're teaching them. We're showing up every day, teaching them, stand on this Bible verse because this is what God says. We're preparing that battlefield so that way they can win it. We are equipping them. We're equipping our child in the mundane for the battle that they will fight. Because if we don't show up, if we don't teach them that, we automatically lose that battle. And what is the cost of losing that battle? For me, it's family time. It's my daughter's love for skiing. It's example. It's ministry time for me. For my daughter, it's her love of mountains, her love of the beauty, that freedom, that joy, the giggle, the laughter, the wahoo as we go down the mountain. So instead of taking and letting the world live with us, let's take our authority as God's children and quit serving our giants. We're giving them power over us. But that doesn't just affect us. That affects our destiny. That affects the people that we get the opportunity to reach out to and minister to, and the lives that we get to touch. Number 2, as we're positioning ourselves, make sure it's the right battle. We can hear Goliath yelling, I heard it. Oh, stay seated, flight attendants. It's going to be rough. Move to the front. It's going to be such a storm. It's going to be really rough getting out. I could hear Goliath yelling. Are you hearing him too? But I showed up and I made sure this is the battle because you know what? It was a personal battle. You know, there are battles for me at my job that aren't my battles to fight. And God has shown me that and saying, nope, that's not your battle. This is. When it's a personal attack, it's your battle. And you know you have the right to fight it. Understand God's timing. You know what? I couldn't fight that battle from my couch. I was fighting it and I was praying for it. And I pray and get prepared for our trips every single time. But I needed to stand on that battlefield. And that battlefield wasn't my couch. That battlefield wasn't my desk. That battlefield was right from that plane, right from that seat. I was in the middle of the battle and I stepped into it. Just like David couldn't have fought Goliath from the pasture. He had to go and fight it from that battlefield. So understand his timing. Sometimes the timing is being right in the middle of it. Even though you recognize it, step into that, right into the middle, and align with God and align with others. You know, before we can even step into the battle, we have to align with God. We have to listen to his voice. Remember his promise. For me, it was, I'm your protector. I will keep you safe. I am with you at all times. Ask and thou shalt receive. And I started listening to him and I listened to his voice and I saw him and he shows me things in pictures. Some people hear, some people see pictures, some people see symbols. There's various ways that you can hear and listen to him. But he shows me in pictures and he showed me our plane going straight up and it was the smoothest slide. And it's like whoop over a bump and then it was just plain and you could just see for miles. And you know what I also did? I texted my sister Marie and I said, hey, pray for me as we step into this. Because you know what? I needed to align with somebody who would stand with me and would stand in agreement. So number one, we're going to show up. We're going to protect. Number two, step into the field. Put your heart and your mind fully into it. My mind kept wanting to wander off and veer this way and veer that way and go, oh, that was a little bump. Oh my gosh, what's going to come next? Is it going to be really bumpy? Are we going to drop down? What's going to happen? You know, we all read flights of, oh my gosh, right now it dropped 4,000 feet in the sky. You know, it's that fear of, I got to control my mind. What is my mind thinking? And so, you know what? I put my mind back on God. And I thought, okay, you know what? Nope, I can't. I've got to step into it. I can't allow it to continue to overtake me. So, you know what I did? I stood on Mark 11:23. Truly, I tell you, if anyone says to this mountain, go throw yourself into the sea, and does not doubt in their heart, but believes what they say will happen, it will be done for them. And I said, all right, Daddy God, you said this. My mountain, I am throwing this plane into the sea. There's not going to be turbulence. I am not going to be fearful. I'm great. I love to fly. And I started singing, I love flying. And I kept saying, isn't this fun, guys? I love flying. Woo, this is fun. Because you know what? I had to keep my mind occupied and I had to truly step in faith. And sometimes it's hard because our mind will wander and our mind will tell us everything else that we don't want to hear. But we've got to stand on that. Because you know what? I had to put my full heart into it. Because there's so much power in believing in our hearts, refusing to lose our heart in it. So, yeah, we're going to have a few bumps, but I'm not going to lose hope. I'm not going to lose my heart or my joy. Because I couldn't. I had to believe in God's strength. And you do too. As you're stepping into that battlefield, you have to believe in it too. And you know what else? He says in Psalm 62:2, truly he is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I will never be shaken. So those little bumps, I couldn't let it shake me. I stepped into it. And then you know what I started doing? I started celebrating and I started thinking, going, okay, let's celebrate the victories I've already had because I've already stepped through other victories to get here, to have the wisdom and the knowledge and the power to be able to face this giant. So God, you've done this before. You know what? He stopped hurricanes. He stopped the storms. He protected me from car wrecks. He's guided me as I've led in my job. He's given me wisdom. So you know what? I am no longer a slave to fear. And that song popped into my head. And I just started singing it and praising him and thank you, God, that, you know what? I've overcome the little so I can overcome the big. And you know what? At the end of that flight, I took the victory. I unplugged from everything that, kept me paralyzed, locked to that chair. I lifted my hands. And you know what? I lifted my hands. We did joy because you know what? I was going to celebrate that I was going to land without being fearful of flying. That bump, and there were some huge bumps at the very end, was not going to get me because I was no longer going to let my giant keep me or bond me with my daughter. We were going to bond instead over our hearts being healed and facing our giants. So today, as you or your child face your giants, position yourself to fight by showing up, by learning in the mundane, the daily, the everyday, standing on it. Align with God. Start writing those verses down and memorize it over and over. And step into that battlefield because you know what? If it's a personal battle, step into it and overcome and take the victory. So, what giants? Yesterday, I faced my giant. And you know what? Today, I love flying. And I will continue to say that, and I will continue to step into every flight with loving flying. I'm not going to let that keep me from my joy, from my family time, from my ministry, from my destiny. Because you know what? We were born for a time as this. So let's revive our hearts and our minds. Let's decree over ourselves and our family. And you know what? I went and I had to find my book. If you guys know Leif Hetland, he has a book about fighting your giants. And there's a declaration that I have that I say over and over and over. So I'm going to say it over you, and I want you guys to agree with me. So God has uniquely and specially created me as a giant slayer. He has given me his spirit and his supernatural armor. And he has also given me unique gifts and anointing. I do not need to be like anyone else to succeed. Instead, I need to know who God created me to be, even if it looks different from the norm. As I daily spend time with God, he will teach me about who I am and what I'm equipped to do. He has made me capable for every assignment in my life. So let's slay that giant and let's jump into our assignment. And so you know what? As I decree this over Adeline, over myself, I get to take the next steps. And do you know what's awesome? Over this next week, I get to work with Adeline in fighting her giant and teaching her. So when she steps into that battlefield and we go skiing again, she can overcome it. And there's going to be healing and there's going to be divine destiny over her as she steps into it. So guys, let's face our giants. Let's talk about our giants and pray over our giants and start stepping into that battlefield and take the victories home on Zoom. So come and hop on Zoom as we continue this conversation. I am going to pop this over here. Here's our Zoom link again. So let's hop on. I want to help you guys overcome your giants and help you teach your children how we can overcome those giants so we can live a victorious life with God. Hop on the other side. I'll see you guys soon.